What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming back with episode number 8 of my F1 2020 My Team series. And here today we have the Monaco Grand Prix. Yes, the toughest race of the year. It was a race I never look forward to, but it's one you have to do. The most difficult racing track in the world, in my opinion. Just walls everywhere, barriers everywhere. So that's the task for today, and it's going to be a challenge, especially in our car. Normally Spain tells you how well you're going to go in Monaco. It's a very downforce heavy track is Spain, and we didn't really show great pace, so hopefully that doesn't translate here to Monaco. We don't have any extra upgrades from after Spain for this track, so hopefully we can go into the weekend with and just don't have any issues, and just have a clean race. And hopefully we don't take too much of a toll on the damaged front this week. I always break a front wing at some stage of the weekend, whether it's practice, qualifying, or the race, so it is bound to happen. So you're just going to be very careful here. Looking at what we've got for the car, we have an engine upgrade that's due to come, but not quite as so just yet. So anyway, we'll move on into qualifying, where hopefully, we can at least get into Q2 and maybe think about trying to get to Q3. It's going to be difficult though. We'll see how we go here on the streets of Monte Carlo. So here is our first timed run in Q1 as we come now into the race gas section, and now through Anthony Nose. Little tricky corner in this last one, always very difficult on the power and traction as we now run to the line here for the first flying lap to be completed. As we go in second place here behind Leclerc but ahead of Sainz, which was a promising start for the first time lap. Now here's the second time lap, same set of tyres, and I've done what I set out not to do and hit the barrier on the... So we went in, changed the front wing, come out, brand new set of tyres. We're actually sitting in 10th place after that first run though. So this run, not necessary at the minute, but we're going to complete it anyway. As we're just slightly up, we were down in the first two sectors of the lap, but we've made it up in the third sector here, and we improved to 9th place here, and hopefully that's enough to get us through to Q2. It should be enough, and it is. We don't drop too far down, as we probably didn't need to improve there. We probably could have saved a set of tyres, but better safe than sorry. Unfortunately for our teammate Hubert, he's been out qualified by George Russell, which is not good enough, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And also out in Q1 is Daniel Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean, George Russell, Antoine Hubert, and Nicholas Latifi. Good job by Kevin Magnussen getting through to Q2 and beating Kvyat there, so good job by him today. Here's our first run in Q2. We did a previous lap, but I backed out of that lap as I wasn't happy with the lap, so we went again on the same set of tyres, and this time around we're doing a much better job, and we go into 6th place here behind Lance Stroll. So as we come back out now for Q2, we're in 10th place here as we start our final run, so it's very critical on whether we can get into Q3 or not. It's going to be an important lap as we come up the hill casino, back down the 5th gear, and then into 4th gear for the right hander, and trying to just use all the road you can possible, and now back down the 2nd gear here, trying not to lock that front right, trying to go on the power as early as you dare, and now back to 1st gear for the slowest corner on the Formula 1 calendar, back to about 45 k's, and then into 2nd gear, and holding it in 2nd, and trying to get the best exit possible through the tunnel. The back end's a little bit sideways there, so now trying to maximise the braking point for the no-bell chicane, just after the 100-metre board, trying to get as close to that barrier as possible, and now short shifting for the run to the back, and now just going to throw the car in here and hope you don't hit the wall, through the swimming pool flat, and then into this right left, and we've made contact with the barrier. Just going to keep going, unfortunately, and now back down the 1st gear very wide through Rasgas, and we're down on our time now as we now come through the final corner, and we open the DRS. We're up, luckily enough, through the last corner. We made some time up, and is it enough to get through to Q3? It isn't. P11, so that little mistake's cost us in the end. I threw everything at that in the end. Yeah, I thought, what's to lose? A 11th place, not bad, not great. We outqualify Ricardo there, who's been knocked out, same as Lando Norris. We'll go to David Croft now.
Driving the circuit de Monaco was like riding a bicycle around your living room, and it's not hard to see what he means by that. There's no more prestigious a Grand Prix victory than Monaco, but also none so challenging. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson, alongside me as always, to talk you through the action.
Well, Crofty, it's the very familiar sight of Sebastian Vettel on pole today, but can he capitalise on it? He might need to show a touch more aggression than we've seen recently to hold on to his lead through the first few corners. So we're in for an exciting start then, I'm sure, and then they'll all start to settle down a bit and try and find a rhythm as they plan the next phase of the Grand Prix. It's important to know when to push and when to hold back so as not to overcook those tyres early on.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Perez, Ocon, Stroll and Carlos Sainz. The captain, Ricardo, Lando Norris and Raikkonen, Gasly, Magnussen, Daniel Kvyat and Antonio Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Russell, Hubert and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers finished today?
So, welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix here today, guys. Should be a very difficult race, starting from 11th. Hopefully, we just have a clean Grand Prix, have a clean race, stay out of trouble, and we can find a way to score a point. I think points are possible if we get a good start here. So anyway, the Revs arrives here in Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix. And let's go. Decent start from us. We immediately get past Carlos Sainz on the run to turn 1. And there's not much more else where to go. And we cover him off already through turn 1. And we move into 10th place immediately. So there's a good start. Made up a position already on the opening corner of the Grand Prix. And now what can we do? Anything here in this section as we follow Lance Stroll here on this opening lap. And he brakes a bit early. We're going to find a way to get down the inside through the right-hander there. I've just blanked on the name. I normally know the name of the corner as we now come through the hairpin for the first time. Yellow flag in the background. That's just that cars probably being all caught up and having to go really slow just due to the congestion on the opening lap. So a good opening lap here today as now we come down to the Nobel chicane for the first time, and we are now following Esteban Ocon in the Renault as he has a huge moment on the back end actually on the exit of the chicane, but he gets away with it as we come through to back for the first time and now on the way through the swimming pool. And you can see there's not really much place to overtake around here, so we'll just try and settle into a rhythm now and try not to bounce off the barriers too much, and we'll see what we can do. I'm not sure if we have the pace to run with the guys ahead today on the soft tyre as we're on the medium, doing a bit of a different strategy. But now we move to lap 11, and for the first 11 laps I have followed Esteban Ocon in this Grand Prix and haven't really gotten anywhere near him to make an overtake. So yeah, that's really what's nothing has happened. Ricardo's made a way through Lance Stroll. You can see Ocon though is starting to slide on his rear tyres. He hasn't been able to keep up with the cars ahead, and we probably have been a bit quicker than him in this opening stint. Unfortunately, just haven't been able to show it. As you know, Monaco just haven't really gotten close enough with the high downforce I run around this joint, as you should. And I don't know what the AI's downforce levels are here, but Ocon has a huge moment on the back end, and now we're pulling alongside through the tunnel side by side, and we very close to coming in contact, but he gives up the position, and we get through just in time. As now we have a virtual safety car for Romain Grosjean. So we get through just in time. That ends next lap, lap 12. People coming into the pit lane, a lot of the guys that were on the soft tyre, including Esteban Ocon, and Daniel Ricciardo is behind us, and that's who we're directly racing today, is Daniel Ricciardo. You can see here the tyre wear, not too bad. We're supposed to come in like laps 16, 17 for the set of hard tyres. I decided to extend the stint thinking the hard tyre wouldn't be the better tyre, even on worn mediums. So that's what I decided to do, just to give myself what I thought was an advantage at the time. It was as we come down into the pit lane to switch out for our one and only stop for the hard tyres. So yeah, not been a bad start so far. It's been a good Monaco Grand Prix. We've made up some places and we're looking good to score some points here today. So yeah, we come out into the pit lane and you can see there goes Daniel Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Alexander Albon all past us. So Ricciardo has made the undercut work on his fresh set of mediums and we're well and truly behind. So that's really unfortunate, and now we've got a lot of work to do if we want to make up that position, as we now come into lap 32 here. This is how long it took me to get within the 1 second gap of Alexander Albon, and now we just start struggling to find any way of getting through here. Lap 35, and Albon, he's a little bit squirrely on the back end of his car, so maybe we have a chance if he has a slide like Ocon did. He does. We get on the power. We're not quite alongside like we were with Ocon though, but can we have a run into the chicane? We're not really getting close. Can we outbrake him? No, he's too good on the brakes in that Red Bull, and we're just going to have to settle for 9th place here today. But can we do anything about Alexander Albon here, as we now are going to open the DRS here? He's not going to have DRS. He's just dropped back the last couple of laps as we've pressured him from Sergio Perez. So not close enough though through the first corner. You just can't gain the time down into turn 1, and now coming through Casino here, 2 laps to go. We're just going to throw everything at this, and I turned in a little bit early and we've bounced off the barrier there. So that's any chance of getting 8th place over. We just conserved and dragged the car home the last lap and a half to finish in 9th place for the Monaco Grand Prix, which, you know what, is better than what I expected before the weekend, and it's 2 points to add to the tally for the season.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari. Round of the World Championship. Here's how things look in the drivers' table. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today. An incredible performance.
Let's move on to the constructors. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So that was the Monaco Grand Prix here today, guys, and it was a good result. 2 points, probably more than what I thought was going to come into the weekend. But Lewis Hamilton has won. Sebastian Vettel has won here today. Our teammate Hubert not having a great weekend at all, so a bit disappointing in that terms. But it is what it is, and we've scored some valuable points, I'd say. Hamilton leading the championship just over his teammate Valtteri Bottas, but it was Vettel taking home the points today. You know, we're still 8th in the constructors' standings at the moment. Hopefully, I think we're going to be fighting with AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo over the course of the season in terms of the points, as it's already shaken out as we now. Yeah, more thoughts on the race. That really, I couldn't make the video any longer. There's just no highlights around this year from Monaco. Just nothing happened. I really just followed Ocon for the first 11 laps. Finally got through, then made my pit stop, and then just followed Albon home and Perez for the rest of the race. It made a wrong call on the strategy. I'll learn from that for next year at Monaco. I didn't know if the hard tyres were going to switch on. They obviously could. So, yeah, a bit disappointing. But anyway, we have a sponsorship renewal with Atlantic, and we will accept that. Money is money at the end of the day. So, yeah. Now we're just going to fit in some events just to help with the team, McLean, help with the driver. Hubert hasn't been the best for the start of the season. Hasn't got anywhere near a point yet, so, and only made it into Q2 once. So, you know, he does need to improve, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of the car performance, yes, I know it's low, but in terms of the gap between us and a racing point at the minute is not that big. It's only on the performance chart, it's not that big. Obviously, Racing Point are a little bit ahead, but we can beat them on any given week. Anybody in the midfield can be anywhere on any given weekend. It just depends what the driver can get out of the car at the end of the day, in my opinion. So, yeah, we now looking at the upgrades here, and not sure what to do looking at this durability upgrade, but it's very difficult to see what to upgrade for the car. We also have a little bit of cash, and I'm thinking about investing in the facilities here. And $1.5 million, we'll spend that and try and help with the not having parts fail, because it's happened a couple times, and it seems to be happening a little bit too often for my liking, even for the durability bits. So hopefully we can do that and avoid. It's a time waster, and it's a resource points waster having parts fail. So hopefully quality control could help us with that as we now move forward, and as we get a new bit for the engine. So hopefully that helps out for the next race at Baku. We know we have those long straights. So we have a chassis and a durability upgrade coming for the next Grand Prix at Baku. So we have upgrades coming for Baku, so we should be a little bit more competitive. And yeah, we'll hopefully that's a good Grand Prix where we can score some good points. It's always been a tricky one. This is actually a good part of the calendar, of the new calendar in F1, where it's, you know, just 3 straight tracks in a row with Monaco, Baku, and then Canada. So interesting part of the calendar. I actually like it a lot, and it's good to see that Baku's a little bit later in the season, and it's good to see all these straight tracks grouped together. It would be cool if Vietnam was part of this little trio as well. That would actually be really interesting, but that's not how it is. So anyway, guys, that's the performance tree. You can see we're just ahead of AlphaTauri now. It's all very interesting. Alfa Romeo's had a good push at this point of the season. Racing Point still just that little bit ahead of the midfield cars, but obviously the top 3 is the top 3, and everybody is trying to close that gap. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's Monaco Grand Prix. Sorry for the shorter episode. Maybe you guys might think I crashed. No, it just, nothing happens at Monaco, really difficult. And I was actually happy that I only didn't crash till lap 37. Anyway, not the point. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for plenty more F1 2020 My Team content. And until the next video at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, I'll see you then. Goodbye.